you're all familiar with limericks, and you're familiar, and the way you process them rhythmically, because you get taught them at school and whatever. And one of the big problems when you're trying to play is finding that relationship between what you play on the guitar and how it sits on the pulse and how it arranges against the meter, which is even that. If you know what I mean by that, fine. But if you don't know what I mean, I could now stand for 40 minutes and explain that like a textbook. But it doesn't get you any nearer to what we're trying to do. So all you do is clap, right? And what you do is you recite the limerick. You can do it out loud, or you can do it you've got to hear the words in your head, one way or the other. So you're going to be hearing me say them, you say them as well. So it goes. So we set up a pulse first of all. Now this is like when we're playing a song, you've got to, by the time the song started, you've got to be feeling that pulse. You've got to be feeling it. Now if you've heard the song a lot before, you'll find it. You won't even need to hear the song that many times if you're experienced enough, and you'll be able to feel the pulse. But you've got to, because the pulse is what everything sits on, and the pulse is what the limerick sits on. So you go, a man named Percival Lee got up one night for a pee. Okay, just stop there. We set the pulse up again. And we do it again. A man named Percival Lee got up one night for a pee. Stop there. Right, it's okay. Brian, I'm going to ask people, if questions occur to me, I'm just going to ask people like, so which one's the easier then? Is it the clapping or the reading of the lyrics?
The clap.
Yeah, because you're not really thinking about the clap, are you?
No.
The first time, some people's claps were a little bit off in terms of time. But the point is this, the clap, we could put the metronome on. I should do that actually. But you could put a rigid metronome on, and what your job is to fit the rhythm of the words to the clap. The clap can't change. Now this is the thing, this is a key thing about playing. If you feel the pulse, it's a tyranny. The pulse is going to kick your ass every which way you possibly can. Now, in order to be able to drop your things on the pulse, you need to be able to find your chords. So the chords that EA and D chords and the B chords we're doing, like I said, you've got to be able to make those, not necessarily fast, but you can't be thinking, or your fingers can't sort of half get there. They've got to make the changes. This is and the harder the new voicings, the more unfamiliar they are, the more you have that little hesitation, which is what I'm trying to get you over. Same with Jeff, like as Jeff said last week, he said, I'll practice my A and D all week, and you move to those movable chords. I know it's not the first time I've ever done it, so I'm apologise on camera for it because you'll see this, I suppose. But you should be able to switch between the two. That's what I'm trying to get people to do, so that when you see a song that says E, A and D, you just go E, A, D, E, A, D. You can go all over the place. And I'll leave it up to you for the pace that you get to that stage. But I'm trying to introduce these things so that you can work on them at your own pace and put them into the songs that you want to play. So this is supposed to be a practical thing. So a man named Percival Lee. So you get the pulse going, and it's a man named Percival Lee got up one night for a pee. Now, one of the other things that happens in a song is this is what happens. It doesn't go like this. Let's go again. You tell me what's wrong with this. So he goes. A man named Percival Lee got up in the night for a pee. What did I do wrong there?
There was no stop. There was no raise.
At the end of the line. Well, let's go in a little bit more detail. You're getting personal attention now, but I say that's one thing you do. That's one thing that's lack of familiarity with the song causes you to go early on songs. In not everyone, but like I've seen everybody do it at one time or another. Yeah. So, but it's one of the things to bringing you up to speed to the class because you're new in the class. But that's a key thing about knowing the song. But most of that you get from listening to the song. But the thing is now that we clap on a man named Percival Lee. But that's really important. Got up one night for a pee. And that's really important. when you get lyrics written out on the sheet, on the internet, particularly on Ultimate Guitar and places like that, people just stick the chords anywhere. They won't line up. But I could have lined the lyrics up, so I could have lined them up like this. A man named Percival Lee got up, but the up and the man have got to be aligned. Got up when he reached. When he reached. I know it's he. I've telegraphed that now. When he reached the loo, it was a little. You know, there's a lot to put in there. It doesn't really fit. I put that bit in. It's not Spike. I'll put Spike's proper line in a bit later. But I put it in to disrupt, because you can make it fit. And your job when you first learning a song, you first listen to a song, and this is after say you're going to take you 6, 8, 9, a dozen, 15, 20 listens till you even get bare familiarity with any song that you've never heard before. I try and pick songs that you'll have some familiarity with, but even then, it'll take a dozen listens to easily, minimum, to just get the basic familiarity, which is, I think the only thing you're underestimating is the number of times you've got to listen to get that familiarity with it. And it's not with it's just the song familiarity, not the playing. Do you see does it make sense? Don't think it's you. This is just not the misapprehension about how long you've got to sit with material. But again, when it was a. You see, it doesn't matter. You've got to find the word that sits on that central beat in each line, and you've just got to chew on the stuff, because they're not rhythmically so important. But you've got to find the right word that lands there. You know, so So again, first beat is a man named Percival Lee, gap, up one night for a pig. When he reached the loo, but now, if it doesn't flow straight out of your mouth, it's not going to come out of your fingers. So whenever you hit a blockage like that, you have to stop and reverse the song, find a jumping in point to the song, and then work on that little section until it beds in. And that's assuming you can make all the changes. You've got to be able to make the changes first.
I would say it would work either way, on either he or reach. It depends how you say it.
It does, yeah, it does. There's no one right or wrong answer. There are lots of wrong answers and the multiple right answers, as long as it rhythmically works. But that's absolutely a good point to make there. When I find it's easier to go when he reached the loo, as opposed to when he reached the loo. When he reached the loo. And again, that's playing style. You know, when you come to play, like, you know, if you choose to go, and somebody else chooses to go, you know, and make different rhythmic things, that's literally all you're doing. But both got to fit against the meter, against the pulse. But as long as you can make it work, that's your style, that's your musical style, you know. So we've got that. But the important thing is the spaces, and then where do you enunciate. So let's just get to the end of this, and then we'll put it into this. We'll look at a song you may or may not have ever heard before, and we'll apply it to that. So it was a little past 2. I'll put it on he for now, because I'll keep getting it wrong and it looks stupid. I look stupid, you know. He reached the loo. It was a little past 2, and when he got back, it was 3. When he got back, it was 3, and then there's a space at the end. Because otherwise, it would go like this. Because the songs will cycle apart, so you'll go, and when he got back, it was 3. A man. Because the man's got to go on. A man's got to go on a beat, hasn't it? A man named Percival. So we did it back to back, 2 passes. A man named Percival Lee got up one night for a pig. When he reached the loo, it was a little past 2, and when he got back, it was 3. A man. Do you see? You get to the end of the section. If you don't put that beat in at the end, you're a beat ahead. A man's got to go on a strong beat. So if you don't put that spacer beat in, man's got to go there. Does that make sense? It's this thing. It's another thing that you tend to do. It's like it's not enough to just identify the pulse, the words that land on the pulses. It's where there's a pulse, a beat that that doesn't have any word on, but you still have to put it in. Otherwise, the shape, you lose the shape. So that's... and the little past two, it was a little past two. There's the way the original one, the right one is when he got to, not reached, when he got to the loo. And then the other one was, it was quarter to two. It was quarter to, which scans much better now. It was quarter to two. Oh, I've got that space there. It was quarter to two. And so, but the point is the reason why I put stuff that doesn't, I think I've said this once already, but it doesn't, you need to have those song lyrics. We've got one actually, we've got one to do, we'll do this again, or a similar one next week, because next week I've got another new song, I've got Polythene Pan from the Beatles, which is supposed to be a rhythmic thing for you to get your rhythm going. So it might be next week, it might be the week after. But it's key to that, it's key to this. And what I just said, and the other thing is, which is a bit more technical, and I put this in with the beginners at the end, is that was a man named Percival Lee. As long as you can find a regular pulse that you can hang things on, you'll get a shape and a structure for the song. But you can have all those subdivisions as well. You could go, a man named Percival Lee got up one night for a pee. And now the gap, we just put in half the number of beats, and we're letting the rest take care of itself. When he got, and then it's when he got to the. Because when he got, now you see that's because when he got to changes that now, because you said about being unreached, but you've got to that forces. That's an interesting thing that didn't notice last time. That it forces the emphasis to be shifted down. And I suppose if you was like doing a degree in English, you could probably like delve into the depths of the English language and write a thesis on that or something like. But it's not a fixed thing. You already have the instinct to be able to do it. The instinct to find those stress parts throughout the song, and those are the anchor points in any song that you're learning to play. The ones we've already done and the new one we're going to do tonight. But the second thing is you got. I don't want anybody ringing me up at 3 a.m. I've left Tim's WhatsApp on, so you can say, "What was that pulse?" I'm just having a go. I want to know what was the pulse you used for the limerick. Because it can be anything as long as it's regular. So you can go that one, which is fairly nice. You pick one that's not. What you have to pick is the one that gives you enough detail but doesn't overload your senses. So if we go half of that, just do each one with me. Just see which one. And I want to vote on which one you like the best. So first one will be, a man named Percival Lee got up one night for a pee. When he got to the loo, it was quarter to two. And when he got back, it was 3. Do you notice how much rhythm there is between each of those pulses? No, because we missed every other one. I missed every other one then. I just set up a pulse that was half, so it deliberately lost half of all those anchor points, which means between there and there, we lost that one, but you got all that rhythm of the language. Now, I can process that, but if you find that difficult, you slice it up to give you more reference points. Now, you need that pulse going without really thinking about it. Make sure you get that sync with me. So it goes, a man named Percival Lee. Now, stop there. Did you notice the difference there? You've got all the syllables, Percival Lee. But you've got to put all them taps at the end to fill. Before we just got one spacer, and then we got all this extra beats now because we've divided it up. Limerick's in triple time, so it goes 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Right, so it goes 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. That's what it does. All right. So it's once you've got a man named Percival Lee, you can't go a man. You can't put one in between. You can't go from that to. It has to, because it's in triple time. Can you everybody see the 3-ness of it? It goes a man. Just say 1 2 3 1 2 3 now. Just say 1, 2, 3. Keep saying that. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'll say the limerick and you say 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So he goes, a man named Percival Lee. 1, 2, 3, down, down the night for a pee. 1, 2, 3, down, 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 down. And then he got back. It was 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Do you see what I mean? It's important to notice that, because one of the things you can do is, if you read, you have to have some grounding in this, but it's really hard to express and teach, but yet it's weird because you can do a lot of it already. But you can practice it by reading limericks if you want to practice a 3 in 3s thing. And I've got an exercise for the scales that's based upon a 3 meter. But you know what, I'll keep pushing it back further and further. It's going to go fairly close to the end now. So if you want to practice that and get ahead, read some limericks and see the 3ness of the underlying pulse. But when you have to go from here, so you have to divide from there to there, you have to have 3s. It goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right? So you've got to fit the words in naturally to sit on that. And it sounds like, but you can do it. Because if you just read, a man named Percival Lee got up in the night for a pee, you're doing it. Do you know, this is the strange thing that you can...
The 3 would probably come on to the next line onto the
It does, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of details about that. And I'm wary about delving too analytically into it, because there's a little bit more to cover. So, but do you notice the 3ness really comes out more in these? When he goes, when he got to the loo, 2:15, you can really feel the 3s there. So, but again, I've gone on, that's a bit longer because I was trying to give you a feel for it. But once you've been introduced to it, you have to just basically do different examples for it. The 3s thing, I'll come back to some other time. I think if you've got the idea, go out and find some limericks and think about the way they divide up into 3s, and it'll be one of the best things you could ever do for your playing. It really will. It's really powerful.